Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
Today we're sharing 5 stories. First, we'll look at why chipmaker TSMC is selling the very system it uses to protect its 610,000 trade secrets, a move that could reshape its entire industry. Second, Taco Bell's new drive-thru AI is a viral disaster, and we'll hear from its tech chief, Dane Matthews, on why humans are still better at the job. Third, the US is cutting off Samsung and SK Hynix's access to chip equipment in China, impacting 40% of their memory production, while boosting American competitor Micron. Fourth, a new report shows Tesla's full self-driving is turning customers off with a tiny 2% subscription conversion rate, despite Elon Musk betting the company's future on it. And fifth, Reliance chairman Mukesh Ambani is partnering with Google and Meta to build a sovereign AI for India, a massive deal ahead of a planned Reliance Jio IPO. The story begins with a decision that caught everyone by surprise. The company that makes the world's most advanced chips for Apple and Nvidia is about to sell its most valuable asset. And no, it's not their chip designs. They're selling their secrets on how to keep secrets. TSMC, the world's largest chip foundry, has built a legendary fortress to protect its technology. Now, they're planning to commercialize that very system, marketing it to companies across Europe and the United States. This isn't just a new product launch. It's a fundamental shift in TSMC's strategy. You see, we're talking about a hardware manufacturing giant pivoting into the software and consulting business. The goal is to diversify, but more importantly, to deepen their integration with everyone they work with. It's a way of embedding their methods and their control directly into the operations of their suppliers and partners. And the scale of what they're protecting is immense. The system logs a jaw-dropping 610,000 individual cases of technologies and know-how. Think of it as a digital treasure trove, a catalogue of every single breakthrough. The situation presents a fascinating duality. On one side, a formal system like this can actually spur creativity. By logging every idea, research shows you can prevent teams from accidentally redoing work and make it easier to build upon existing knowledge. It streamlines the whole process. On the other side, there's always a risk that too much bureaucracy could stifle the chaotic, spontaneous moments where true genius often strikes. This isn't just about security. This database uses artificial intelligence to monitor projects, track development with partners, and even identify a company's most talented innovators. It's a system designed not just to lock secrets down, but to weaponize them for faster innovation. What's often overlooked with that AI talent spotting feature, though, are the serious ethical questions it raises. While the goal is to find top performers, these kinds of AI monitoring systems can carry hidden biases from the data they're trained on, potentially discriminating against certain groups. More than that, constant digital surveillance can erode trust and create a culture of fear. It's a fine line between optimizing performance and creating a workforce that feels like it's being watched by an algorithm. So you have to wonder, why would a company so obsessed with secrecy sell the keys to its kingdom? According to TSMC's own counsel, it's about control. By getting their suppliers and partners to adopt their system, they can build a stronger, more innovative ecosystem that, in his words, in turn, we benefit from as well. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of strategy at play. When a dominant company like TSMC provides the very system that manages its suppliers' secrets, it creates a massive power imbalance. This could give TSMC unprecedented visibility into its partners' innovations, possibly even before they're fully developed, raising potential conflicts of interest. Of course, building a database of over 500,000 trade secrets creates the ultimate target for hackers. TSMC claims the system is so heavily encrypted that even if it was stolen, the data would be unreadable. But this isn't a hypothetical threat. Cybersecurity experts report that state-sponsored hacking groups have dramatically increased their attacks on Taiwan's semiconductor industry, seeking exactly this kind of proprietary technology. By centralizing all this knowledge, TSMC has essentially painted a giant bullseye on its back, creating what might be the world's most valuable honeypot for cyber espionage. Securing it requires more than just encryption. It's a matter of national and geopolitical strategy. The move is being called rare among global companies. Is this a generous effort to foster global innovation, or is it a strategic masterstroke by the world's most powerful chipmaker to lock its entire supply chain into its way of thinking? Speaking of giants wrestling with new technology, let's start with a scene. A man pulls up to a Taco Bell drive-thru and the AI tries to charge him for 18,000 cups of water. That's not a joke. It's one of several viral glitches plaguing the fast food giant's new AI system. Now, get this. The technical term for why this is so difficult is the noisy channel problem. A drive-thru is an acoustic nightmare. You've got engine rumble, people talking, regional accents, and slang. For an AI trying to listen for keywords, it's like trying to hear a whisper in a rock concert. It's not just about transcribing words. It has to understand context, and when the audio is messy, it makes these wild mistakes. In another clip, viewed over 21 million times, a customer gets stuck in an endless loop with the AI repeatedly asking, "And what will you drink with that?" after he already ordered a drink. Believe it or not, Taco Bell rolled out this technology to over 500 locations with the promise of reducing mistakes and speeding up orders. Instead, it's serving up viral chaos. So why push forward with these fails? After all, the business case is incredibly compelling for these companies. Research shows that 78% of restaurant operators using AI report an increase in operational efficiency. They're chasing a future where AI can slash errors, reduce food waste, and speed up service, all of which boosts the bottom line. For them, these viral fails might just be the cost of doing business. The blowback got so big, Taco Bell's own Chief Digital and Technology Officer, Dane Matthews, had to go on the record. He admitted the AI has had its challenges and that the company will now have to think carefully about where to use it. He even conceded that during busy times, humans are simply better at taking orders. He's describing a new stressful job that's emerging, the AI supervisor. It's a hybrid model where an employee has to do their normal job while also babysitting the AI, ready to jump in the second it messes up. Studies show this human in the loop role creates a whole new kind of cognitive load and stress. And this isn't an isolated incident. Last year, McDonald's withdrew its own drive-through AI after the tech misinterpreted orders, adding bacon to someone's ice cream and mistakenly adding hundreds of dollars worth of chicken nuggets to another person's bill. What's really fascinating here is that some of these fails aren't just random glitches. We're seeing a new phenomenon of stress testing by meme where customers are intentionally trying to break the system for sports just to post it online. They're purposefully giving confusing orders to see if they can trigger a funny result, which is a type of adversarial behavior that developers are now scrambling to defend against. But that's not the whole picture. The real turning point is in the data. Despite the viral fails, Taco Bell says the AI has still successfully processed 2 million orders. Every time you order a burrito, your unique voice print is being collected. This is a huge privacy issue. In fact, McDonald's faced a lawsuit in Illinois for allegedly violating the state's Biometric Information Privacy Act by collecting customer voice prints without their explicit consent. So are these just hilarious growing pains on the road to an automated future, or is it proof that some jobs just aren't meant for a robot? From fast food fumbles, let's turn to high-stakes tech policy where the US government just pulled the plug on some of the world's biggest tech giants. Samsung, SK, Hynix, and Intel are being cut off. The US Commerce Department is officially revoking special permissions that allowed these companies to receive American semiconductor manufacturing equipment in China. To understand the gravity of this, you have to know their operations are deeply embedded in China. Samsung's facility in Xi'an produces around 40% of its total NAND flash memory. That's the memory in your phone, and SSDs. Similarly, SK Hynix's plant in Wuxi makes about 40% of its DRAM. This isn't a small part of their business. It's a critical component of the global supply chain. This is a dramatic reversal. These companies were previously granted exceptions to sweeping restrictions put in place in 2022. That free pass is now gone. The detail here is in the fine print. That free pass was technically called a verified end user, or VEU, authorization. It allowed these companies to import most US equipment without needing a license for every single shipment. By moving to a case-by-case license requirement, the US can apply much more granular control, creating a grey area where it can slow walk or deny permits for specific technologies without a full-blown ban. This move reveals the US strategic priority. It isn't about shutting down current production of older chips. It's about freezing technological progress. For example, SK Hynix has reportedly been forced to pause plans to upgrade its factories to more advanced DRAM processors. Instead, they're increasing production of older, less efficient chips. The goal is to prevent these fabs in China from ever reaching the next generation. This decision brings both opportunities and comes with inherent risks, especially for American equipment makers like KLA Corp, Lam Research, and Applied Materials, who stand to lose significant sales. Interestingly enough, there's a potential boomerang effect as the US squeezes its own companies out of the Chinese market. It's creating a massive protected opportunity for China's domestic equipment makers. Chinese firms like Nora and AMEC are seeing explosive growth. Nora's revenue, for instance, has quintupled in recent years. The US policy is, in effect, force-feeding the development of the very competitors it aims to suppress. And if that was just the appetizer, the main course is just being served for one of their biggest American competitors, Micron. By hobbling its rivals' production in China, the US may be clearing the field for its own domestic champion. And this isn't just a hypothetical advantage. We're seeing the US government restricting foreign rivals while at the same time directly funding its American one. Micron is set to receive over $13 billion in US grants and loans under the CHIPS Act to build new cutting-edge factories in New York and Idaho. The move won't take effect for another 120 days, but the shockwaves are already hitting. It leaves us wondering, is this just about national security, or is the US government now actively reshaping the entire global chip market to pick winners and losers? Speaking of market-shaping moves, let's look at a company whose entire future is bet on a technology that might be backfiring. The most unexpected news in the auto world today has to be this. Tesla's most hyped feature, the one it says its entire future depends on, is actually pushing customers away. A new survey of 8,000 Americans reveals that 35% of consumers say full self-driving, or FSD, makes them less likely to buy a Tesla. Only 14% say it makes them more likely. This taps into a deep-seated psychological problem with these kinds of systems, one that experts in human factors call automation complacency. When a car does most of the driving, the human brain starts to check out. We become overly reliant, less attentive, and our reaction times get slower. The system requires you to be a supervisor, but our brains are wired to become passengers. This creates a dangerous paradox. What really brought this to a head was the finding that nearly half of all consumers surveyed believe FSD technology should be illegal. Part of this distrust comes from the gap between marketing and reality. For example, a now famous 2016 promotional video showed a Tesla driving itself with no human intervention. But years later, testimony from a senior Tesla engineer revealed the video was staged. The car was following a pre-mapped route, and it even crashed into a fence during filming an incident that was edited out. So the thing is, this is hitting the company where it hurts. In Europe, sales plunged a massive 40% in July, the seventh straight month of declines. Meanwhile, Tesla is lagging behind competitors like Alphabet's Waymo and Baidu's Apollo Go in the robotaxi market. Tesla's business model for FSD is under incredible pressure. The company has pushed it as a major future profit center, but the numbers just aren't adding up. Despite free trials and price cuts, one report found that only about 2% of Tesla owners who tried FSD for free actually converted into paying subscribers. A 2% conversion rate is a disaster for a feature that is supposed to define the company's future value. This puts the company and its leader, Elon Musk, in a tough spot, since he has stated that the future of Tesla hangs on its ability to deliver autonomous vehicles. But an expert behind the new report delivers a brutal assessment, stating that Tesla now has the worst reputation of any EV maker in the US, and calling the drop in its brand reputation this year remarkable. In just the past 2 months, the number of consumers who view Tesla cars as unsafe has climbed. At the same time, a jury just found the company partially liable for a fatal crash involving its autopilot system, ordering it to pay around $243 million in damages. This is a textbook example of what safety experts call the out-of-the-loop performance problem. Because the driver is not actively engaged, their situational awareness plummets. When the system fails or needs to hand control back, the driver is cognitively out of the loop and can't react in time. Research from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety confirms this, finding that drivers using these systems are far more likely to be distracted, The core promise was a car that drives itself. But the question now is, are consumers even buying the brand anymore? While one American tech giant is facing a crisis of confidence, two others are doubling down on a massive new partnership in India. A seemingly impossible collaboration became a reality yesterday. India's biggest company, Reliance Industries, just announced it's teaming up with both Google and Meta. Reliance chairman Mukesh Ambani is calling the opportunity in I quote, just as large, if not larger, than the entire digital services revolution that transformed his company over the last decade. To prove it, he's launching a new, fully owned subsidiary called Reliance Intelligence. Here's how the pieces fit together. With Google, Reliance will leverage its AI and cloud computing power, even establishing a dedicated cloud region in India. The goal is to supercharge innovation across everything from energy and retail to telecommunications and finance. Now, a move like this has a massive hidden cost. It requires an astronomical amount of electricity. We're talking about data centers that could consume up to 3% of India's total electricity by 2030. To counter this, Reliance plans to power these new AI data centers entirely with clean energy from its own green energy division. It's an ambitious solution, but whether it's truly sustainable at this scale is a massive open question. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. Reliance is also launching a joint venture with Meta, committing an initial $100 million to build what they're calling sovereign enterprise-ready AI for India. That term, sovereign AI, is key. The idea is for a nation to develop and control its own AI systems to protect its national interests and reduce reliance on foreign tech. It's about creating AI that understands India's unique languages and culture. The paradox here is that to achieve this sovereignty, they are using Meta's open source Llama models as a foundation. It raises a key question. Can you build true technological independence on a framework provided by a foreign tech giant? Meta's Mark Zuckerberg hailed it as a key step toward ensuring everyone has access to AI and eventually what he calls super intelligence. Actually, this isn't a new relationship. It's these companies doubling down. Back in 2020, Meta invested a staggering $5.7 billion into Reliance's digital arm, Geo Platforms. Google followed with another $4.5 billion that same year. When we place Reliance's telecom and retail data alongside Meta's social data and Google's cloud infrastructure, the unprecedented consolidation of power becomes clear. This creates an almost insurmountable barrier for local Indian AI startups and competitors, raising serious concerns about a potential data monopoly. It puts a huge test on India's Digital Personal Data Protection Act to govern this massive trove of information and protect citizen privacy. So, what's the real endgame here? Well, Ambani just gave us a clue, and it's a big one. Amid all the AI news, he also announced plans to take India's largest mobile network, Reliance Jio, public in the first half of 2026. A massive tech partnership, a new AI arms race, and now one of the biggest IPOs on the horizon. The game in India just changed forever.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.